Over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to share the most important number that you can know in your business and how knowing it changes your business for the better. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Devin Tracy. I run a marketing agency. I've worked with over 1,100 clients to date, and I share these videos so that you can get where I am faster, save some time, save some heartache. So with that being said, let's dive in. Let's go ahead and talk about the most important number you can know in your business. That number is really simple. I say simply, it's actually pretty dense. That number is your lifetime gross profit to CAC, LTGP to CAC. That is a complex number. It's a ratio. The ratio tells you how healthy your business is. Some industries, it costs thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars to acquire a client. Some industries, it costs a couple bucks to acquire a client. It always costs money to acquire a client. If you don't think that it costs you money to acquire a client, you just don't know how to track it. You're like, no, it doesn't. Everything we do is organic through social media, through in-person meetings, et cetera, et cetera. No, you have a cost. You're just not tracking it because time costs a lot. Time is actually one of the most expensive costs you can have in your business. It would be better for you if you didn't have to spend such an expensive asset in order to acquire customers. So you should start factoring your time and figure out what your LTGP to CAC is. So CAC is cost of client acquisition or client acquisition cost. That's what CAC is. LTGP is lifetime gross profit. So for instance, let's say I'll use my business as an example. My business, I'm going to do LTGP first. LTGP. Lifetime gross profit. So my clients pay me $970 a month on the minimum. It goes up from there. They can pay up to $5,000 a month, but on the minimum, they pay $970. So I'm going to use that number. And that is what the majority of my clients are paying right now anyway. The prices are going up, but right now that's what they're paying, $970 per month. So that would be my revenue, but that's not my profit, right? Because I have costs of fulfillment. So my costs of fulfillment for my clients actually are pretty close to 50%. And that is both the explicit costs and then I have like hidden costs. And as I've been working it out, I've realized where I thought I had 70% profit margins, they're a lot closer to 50%, which is unfortunate, which is also part of why my prices are going up. That being said, this is not the number that I need to figure out my lifetime gross profit. The number that I need is profit. So my monthly profit is not $970. I'm going to say for simplicity's sake, and it's close enough to write, that my lifetime profit is actually about $500. That's your revenue minus expenses, right? So some of my expenses are that we pay our partners for press releases. Some of my expenses are my team doing fulfillment. Some of my expenses are tools, things like that. And then I end up with about $500 per month profit. Okay. Now, lifetime means how long do you keep the customer? My lifetime is going up. Every single month since I've gotten in business, it's still true that my average lifetime of the client increases. And that's really cool. That's part of because what I do, SEO is very, very sticky. For estimate's sake, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to say that my lifetime gross profit is based on a 6-month lifetime. Well, my clients I'm seeing have a longer lifetime than that. We're going to say 6 months for now. So 500 times 6, my lifetime gross profit is about $3,000. $3,000. Not bad. That's LTGP. You figure it out by figuring out what is their profit multiplied by how many times they pay. And it's easy when you have a business like mine that's recurring, where they pay month over month. If you don't have a business like mine that's recurring, if it's reoccurring, so they just pay multiple times, then what you want to do is start tracking by cohort how long your clients last, how long they come back, and how often they come back. You can still find this as a number of averages. You just have to track your numbers to do it. And this is so important to know the health of your company. You should put in the work. It's a lot harder if you don't have a recurring business like I do, but you still need to do it. That's lifetime gross profit. For my example's sake here, I'm going to stick with $3,000 as a rough estimate for what my lifetime gross profit per customer is. CAC is how much it costs to acquire the customer, client acquisition costs. So the easiest way to do that is if you acquire a customer through marketing, right? If you're running ads, and then what you need to remember though is that ads are not the entire cost. If you run ads, you also have to pay the salesman. You also have to So if you're paying salesmen, you have to pay the salesman. If you're not paying the salesman, you're paying yourself. You should factor in your time, and all of those aspects matter as well. So my CAC for my average client, My CAC right now, what I just found out, I've done these numbers, I've crunched them, is that it's costing me on average about $300. Okay? Costing me $300 roughly. It's a little bit more than that, but it's close enough to that for argument's sake, we're going to stick with 300. I think it ends up being closer to 330, but we're still dialing in those numbers. We're figuring them out more specifically. So my lifetime gross profit to CAC is 3,000 to 300, right? Now, as a ratio, ratios are basically fractions. The way that you interact with them, you work with them, they just tell you things differently. You want to simplify it. So these are both divisible by 300. This simplifies to a 10 to 1. Basically, when you square out the function, you always want CAC to get to 1. And here's the magic. Here's why this matters. Here's why I'm sharing all of this, okay? The minimum, the absolute minimum that you need for your LTGP to CAC is 3 to 1. If it's lower than that, then your company's not scalable. It won't continue to grow. Which also means when you look at that, oh, okay, so my profit margins are 50%. You just start shrinking and shrinking. This is why you need a 3 to 1 lifetime gross profit to CAC at the minimum so that your company is scalable and growable. Obviously, the better it is, the better. 10 to 1 is really good. This is a healthy company that I get to scale and grow and continue growing. Now, the cool thing about this is 10 to 1 is what I found overall, but I actually have a channel that I'm experimenting with right now that looks like it's going to be 19 to 1. That's what it is right now. It's just too early to say that's actually the numbers. But 10 to 1 is super, super healthy. 19 to 1 would be phenomenal. Obviously, the better that disparity, the more healthy the company is, the faster it can grow, the more successful you're going to be. That's what makes this such an important number. It's so dense. It tells me everything I need to know about the health of the company, whether it's going to be able to grow or not. Now, that being said, what I want you to do, your homework, is to figure out what your LTGP to CAC is and follow me because I'm going to share the strategy that I have here as soon as I have it really tested out and proven and not just experimental. Right now it's very experimental, but when I have enough data to say that I'm confident about this, I'm gonna share it with y'all. That's what I got for you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Or if you watch this on YouTube or anything like that, rather than live with me, I'll see you whenever the next video comes out.